All right, on today's 30-minute mechanic, we're going to look at our intake charge tube under here, because the front tire, when you turn it to the left, the front tire rubs on it. So we're going to try to figure out a way to maybe move it up and in and farther that way away from the front tire. So buckle up, let's go. Okay, well, by now you've probably seen a couple of videos I've made of, first driving this thing around. Look at that. That front tire was rubbing on my, it's rubbing on my map sensor plug too. That's not good. Gosh, I never thought I'd get that far over there. Huh. I'm going to have to relocate more stuff than I imagined. Okay. Well, like I was saying, by now you probably watched some videos of me drive around the parking lot a little bit, get into boost just a little bit. She was still lean, so I've richened up the fuel map considerably, and everything's looking good so far. But I've got to take care of this little problem, because every time you turn left, boy, and it's starting to gnaw into my connector over here, which I didn't have any idea it would get that far over there. So that we're gonna have to move that somewhere, do something about that. In fact, that may be mostly what all the noise is. Maybe rubbing on that thing, making all the racket. But anyways, this tube, I'd like to rotate it. I'd like to shove this farther back up there and rotate it up, rotate this up to where maybe it's farther up in here, farther back that way and farther up this way. So let's see if we can loosen some of these T-bolt clamps and get things moved around. Now, I've actually got another piece here that if I have to, I might come out and put an angled piece where this stays way up high up here if I have to. And again, my air intake temperature sensor is right back here in this centerpiece. I might have to make another one, set this one up to do the same thing. So anyways, there's a puddle of oil on the ground. What's going on with that? Huh. I have to figure out why that's dripping. Let's wipe that off my mat here. I can't see what I'm doing, but my workout mat, where's that coming from? Good gravy. That's probably coming from. Okay, let's take a little time, Al. I'm not gonna mess with that right now. I've got other things to do, but I think that's where my turbo oil feed and all that ties in over there. It's dripping. Maybe that's what I was getting the drip from, and not thought it was dripping out of the valve cover vent. It might have been leaking out over there. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. That's tightening. That's untightening. Get some of these loose here. Get off there. Who knows? Ah, great. I have no idea where that went. Holy smokes. Yeah, parts shooting everywhere at me under here. I have no idea where that went either. Oh, gosh. Let's try not to do that anymore. Where's this one? Right here. Just loosen them without taking them completely off. All right. Let's see if I can shove that up. Yep, I can. Farther. Let's see if I loosen that one too. I can get a little more wiggly. Trying not to completely block my camera. I have no idea where that nut went, or that little spacer deal that goes on the clamp. Man, that thing shot off like a missile. See if we can rotate that. Yeah. I don't know that I moved it any. Maybe I did. It's hard to get my arms in here. What the heck? I did shove that quite a bit farther back up in there. If I can. Is that thing bottomed on the? Where's my sensor at? Here. Awesome if. Yeah. You know, I'm about 100% sure that was what was making all the noise. Over here. You won't be able to see that. My light may be in the way, but there we go. Right up to there. Stinky part is you do this and then you don't really know if you've done any good. Until you put the car back down on the ground, take it off jack stands, put it back down on the ground, and actually drive it. This thing is so low. It's got lowering springs in it, and it is probably a little lower than is really practical. I'm going to shove that in maybe just a hair more. That one's considerably farther back in there now. So let's go ahead and just tighten that one back up. I could find my tool. Where's that? Back in here. But overall, everything seems to be working pretty good. The micro squirt's working fantastic. Let's see what we got in here. That one's way in there. Everything seems to be happy. Yeah, that is there. We can tighten this one up now. Now I think I've pushed everything back farther and up some. And what I actually considered doing while oh, there's that cap. while I look for my nut. What I actually considered doing was maybe putting a piece of flat steel in there, kind of as a rub. Putting a piece of flat steel in here, so if the wheel, you do turn, you've got a piece of flat steel there that will buzz on the tire before it before it tears a hole in your intake tube. Let's see if we can find that nut. I got my magnet because I know it's going to be good gravy. I have no idea where it is. It's always got to be out of reach. Well. Oh. All right. I don't know. Let's get another clamp, I guess. There's a nut on a different clamp. Whoa, just about shot that one across the shop too. Like a slingshot. The other one will turn up somewhere sometime. But, so far so good. This thing, it makes boost. I think I made a maximum the other day of 8 pounds of boost. I mean, just briefly. I didn't get into the throttle and stay into it. I just kind of brapped it, and then got out. And we had 8 pounds. 8 pounds on the data log. What's going on here? Can't get that through there. And it just spins the tires with ease. And of course the sound is, oops, sorry about that. The sound is terrible on the videos because I'm using the microphone, and the microphone has noise cancellation, background noise, so it's always trying to cancel out the sound of the car. So I'll try to do some videos when I'm doing more tuning on it, when I'm driving it, that I'm not using a microphone, so you can actually hear what it sounds like, because it makes all the right turbo noises and sounds pretty awesome. Okay, intake tubes are all tightened up now. Now we got to move that. We got to move that map sensor, because that's just going to get torn up. So let's unplug that thing first from both dealy whoppers. I have no idea. Gosh, I'm really surprised that rubbed on it there. I need to find my drill. So I can take those screws out easier. Now I do need to put a catch can on this car. Now put a valve cover vent in it. Oh, those are the ones I put the rubber nubbin on the other side. Totally forgot about that. Just unscrewed my rubber nubbins. The vent I put in the valve cover over there has a little, it was, since there's no baffle to it, it was puking oil down the valve cover and running down. And I thought that's what was causing the drip on the floor when I pulled it in the shop, but evidently something else is dripping over there, and I'm gonna crawl into there in a minute and find it, figure out what was causing that. But for right now, let's figure out a place to put this map sensor. Yeah, where to put it? Okay, mappy map. Gosh, I'm really amazed that, I could move it farther over, I think, and up, or Maybe down. Maybe I should move it down. Where the tire, I don't know. It was right there and the tire was rubbing on it. Maybe I need to go up high with it. Maybe up. I don't really want it that way. It's all up here. There's actually a nut, a bolt sticking out up here that, gosh, I don't know if you can see that back up in there. There was actually a bolt sticking out that could darn well. I turned it over. The connector might actually reach, and I can put a nut on it. If I can ever get it off now. Oh my gosh. Oh, there it goes. This guy, I think, well, I thought, I have no idea why they can't push that back through. Can't feel it. That's for the number one reason. Oh, I got a zip tie holding it. Oh my gosh. Man, I put like 40 million zip ties on this car, and I've cut about 30 million back off of it. Just like that one. There it goes. Wahoo! Oh, dude, yeah. That may be a great idea. Let me go see if I can find a nut in my nut stuff. Actually, I got a whole bunch of, I got a whole box full of screws here. Left over from, probably have the nut that came off of there somewhere. Got my screw box right here next to me. Let's see if we can find, oh, shoot, yeah, there's one. This just almost fixed itself. This is going to be good. So my light's pointed the wrong way and I can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to plug that in. Maybe that'll reach. I'm not sure that it will. I have another. Ooh, I don't like that. Just felt I got my my intake air sensor mashed in there, connector mashed in there. We got to rotate that. Wrong way. That was the right way. And this side over here. The thing's mashed up against the. See if we can turn it to the up. I don't know that I can. Gosh, what's going on here? Maybe I need to turn it down. Rotate it to the down. Yeah. It's maybe a little. I don't really like that solution too much. What's going on? Can that? Then that won't reach that way. Okay, backing up. Undoing. Set that right there. It'd be awesome. Let's unplug that guy real fast. It'd be awesome if I could rotate that where it's pointed straight up. I'd much rather have that. Much rather have that pointed up than down. It's pointed down. I'm running into some wiring here. So if it's pointed down, it's in danger of getting hit by the tire too. I don't want that. There we go. We are doing good stuff. There. There now. Yeehaw. Now this, everything is like, I don't know how I put all this in here, but it seems like everything is twisted around each other, wound up, and that's much better. That's our, oh yeah, I think plug that back in. And I think my map sensor might actually reach over here. Reach to the top. Come on. Where's the hole? I mean, really? Here it is. Did that not protrude through like I wanted it to? There it goes. Now, I had a nut here. Where'd it go? Ooh, there it is. Gosh. And that's actually not a bad location up there. It's all tucked up away from everything. I got to get a vacuum line to run up there. Gosh, I'm pretty tickled that I found that. Let me grab a 10 millimeter ratcheting. What you do here? Is, oh, that's probably tight enough. When you hear crackly noises, that means stop. Tuck that in. Okay. Now I just need a piece of hose. Let's go see if I can find some hose. Okay, I got a piece. Don't know if it'll fit, but we're going to find out. It's hard to see back up in there now. Yeah. That one's not quite big enough. Let me plop this one off. Come on. You know what? Ooh, blinded by my light. Can't see anything now. Okay. I don't know if y'all can, but wonder. See if I can get that off. There we go. All right, now I can go see if I can find a piece in the hose box. Yeah, I got one that says it's rated for 40 psi. I know it'll, pretty sure it'll go on up there. There, that one's on. Now, if that could just reach around, I don't want to put a kink in it. Let's see here. I can get it plugged in here. It's kind of an important connection here because this is telling the ECU what's happening in the world. So I don't want to screw it up. But I think that's pretty good right there. I think that'll come off of there. That's pretty snug. Just have it wiggle around back through there. Ow! I'm poked by the sharp end of a zip tie. There, that's loose. Okay. And what it should do, I should put where'd my zip ties go? Should put a zip tie around that just to keep that from falling down and ending up in a bad position. I need to tighten these back up too. Shut those back together there. As far together as those can go. Let's nose up before we forget about them. That's good. This one, come on. Go over here. I'm not too keen about the direction. That one. We'll do a little more like this. Ideally, I'd like to put the fender liner back in here. And that would protect a lot of this. Protect a lot of this stuff from the elements, at least. Let's just see if that'll... Got me a cut-off zip tie here which is just almost barely long enough. Look at that. Saved a zip tie. Okay, that's all kind of tucked in or to stay out of the way. I think I may be sticking down now. Maybe we should rotate that back. Maybe. I don't know if I can get it to turn or not. Oops. There it goes. Yep, that's what we want. Yeah. And drop my socket, and it did not go in the oil. Okay. Now, I think that little mission may be somewhat accomplished. Of course, we won't know till I put the tire back on and put the fender liner back in. So let's move on to something else. Now I crawl under here, and one of the first things I notice is, hello, there's a socket stuck to a nut up there. I'm gonna see if I can get that out. I didn't have any idea that was under here. Now we gotta look around and see if we can figure out where we're dripping oil from. We've dripped a significant amount. Let's turn your light on. Oh. Significant amount of oil from somewhere on the floor. And it happened after we shut everything off. And it sat for a while. Can't seem to see. Got a drip. Yeah, there's a drip right there. Where is that coming from? Don't know. I'm going to put the camera down so I can crane my head around and see if I can figure this out. Because I can't tell and I can't see right now. That socket, I literally just touched it with my finger and it fell off. So I can't believe that it didn't fall off driving around. That's kind of amazing. Now this puddle on the floor here, I thought it was engine oil, but on further analysis, that's power steering fluid. And I think it may be, let me wipe my finger off. I think it's coming from the rack, the connections on the top of the rack right up here, because it's coming down somewhere right here. It's ending up on this bushing and then bloop, dripping on the ground. Or it's coming from under here somewhere. I don't really know. This car has had a history of leaking power steering fluid out of everything. So I think it's coming from back up in there somewheres on top where the lines. Actually using my camera to kind of look and see. Just can't get my head up in there. I think it may be coming from up there somewhere because it's not coming from any of my fittings, any of my engine oil fittings. So at least that I can tell. So I think the AC compressor's leaking out stuff because I took the lines off of it. But I haven't seen any. I've been putting my fingers up here around the fittings for everything here, and there's nothing that has oil on it. So not coming from my oil feed, which makes me happy because I was kind of concerned that it was. But it's coming from the power steering stuff. So I'm not going to worry about it too terribly much. I just need to put something here to catch it when it does drip on the floor. I hate power steering. All right, my next little chore I'm going to have to come up with is putting a catch can on this car. I was talking about it a minute ago, but I put this valve cover vent in the valve cover. It doesn't have any sort of baffling inside. So it was just, oil was just running down the valve cover right onto the header and smoking and making a big mess, making a big smoky mess. So I need to come up with a catch can. There's not a lot of room. The problem I'm having is there's not a lot of room under the hood in this thing to just put things. I have a cheapo catch can right here, one of these guys that I bought from my other car. But I haven't come up with there's not a good place to put it. I mean, it's got a drain on the bottom, so you kind of want to be able to get to the drain. But I mean, you can't really put it there. And I guess you could, but then you couldn't drain it. If this overflow bottle wasn't here, that would be an awesome spot. But we got that giant overflow bottle. I don't really want to put it right here in front of the turbo where the turbo's sucking stuff right off the catch can. Considered sticking it right down in here next to the battery and then putting some kind of, I don't even know if I could put a hose on that. I could put a hose on it and run it out somewhere where you could drain it. I don't know, come up with some kind of mounting something. I might be able to come up with something right here. I don't know. If you got any ideas about where I could put it, maybe that might not be a bad spot. But then how do you mount it? I mean, maybe I could mount it to literally mount it to the intake. Who knows? There's one of those bolts. Let's turn our light on there. Make it a little easier to see. I don't know. I can't seem to come up with a good spot to put this thing. I guess I could make a catch can, or maybe find a smaller one. I don't know. I got to do some more looking and thinking. It'd be awesome if I could just have a small one, like maybe a smaller rectangle. Whoops, maybe a smaller rectangular one that could fit here by the windshield washer fluid. Slide down and maybe have a hose go at the bottom, or maybe one that mounts, over here above the brake booster. That's actually not a bad spot, but this is a terrible orientation. Putting it sideways, it needs to be vertical. So I'm kind of thinking that might not be a bad solution right there. Of course, it'd be in the way of everything getting the spark plugs and everything else. I'm not convinced that's what I want to do. If this thing's about half as tall, if it's about half as tall as it is, I could probably get by with mounting it right back over here somewhere. But so that's my current dilemma. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do there. I might end up back over there building one, which actually sounds better and better every day. It's just making one that'll fit somewhere I want it to fit. So anyways, that's the catch can dilemma. All right, one last thing before we go. This, you've probably seen this back over in the background of some of my videos, but this is the iKart, like the letter I. Why is it the iKart? Well, because if you can see it, the big 2-inch square tube frame is a giant letter I. Now, I built this a few years back for my kids. They got to ride it. They got to ride some, probably not as much as I wanted them to or they wanted to. But anyways, they had fun with it while we did ride it. It's been out at my dad's barn for a long time, as you can tell. Kind of looks like a barn find. It's got dirt all over it. And hasn't run in quite a few years. It's been here at the shop for quite a while, and it hasn't run since it's been here. So I'm going to do a few videos on getting the iKart cleaned up and getting it running and working again. It was a lot of fun to build, and it was a lot of fun to drive around on. So we're going to see if we can attack this Harbor Freight motor, get the carburetor cleaned out, and get it running again so we can enjoy it again. So stay tuned for iKart revival videos. All right, that'll do it for 30-minute mechanic today. We kind of massaged our charge tubes around where maybe they're not going to rub on the front tire. I may still end up putting a piece of sheet metal in there as a kind of a rub to keep the tire from touching it. I don't think it'll be a problem with skinny tires, but you put these wider tires on there and they tuck back over there. We moved the map sensor. I didn't realize the map sensor was getting munched by the tire too. I mean, really, that's what happens. But got the map sensor moved to a different location so it's out of harm's way, and recovered the socket. Can't believe that socket was, I can't believe it didn't fall off. I mean, I literally just reached up there and touched it and it fell off. That's pretty amazing. We figured out what's leaking under there. Power steering fluid. Surprise, surprise. The power steering on this car is leaking. It's not coming from the pump anymore like the other pump. So it's definitely coming from down low. I think where the lines go into the rack. Not going to mess with them for right now. Just going to put something down there to catch the drip and keep filling with it. Maybe I'll mess with it later. Maybe I won't. But anyways, we took a quick look at the iKart. I'm trying to do a few videos on getting that going, so stay tuned for that. And like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends, and we'll see you next time. Bye.